Let's say good morning to Dan Doyle. He has coached high school and college basketball, and he is also the author of the new book, The Encyclopedia of Sports Parenting. Frank Shamrock is a mixed martial arts fighter. He teaches MMA. He's also a television commentator for MMA telecasts. Good to have you both here. All right, Dan, very quickly, give me a sense of what you think about what you just saw.
Wow. Bob, there is not a child psychologist, a pediatrician, or expert in sports injuries or any sort of injuries regarding children who would approve of this. And I would begin by asking parents, if you're even considering this activity for your child, you need to go beyond the anecdotal. You need to get expert advice. You need to be a critical thinker. That is your parental obligation. I've never seen anything that has upset me more in the 8 years we spent writing this book than this particular activity.
All right, Frank, what do you say?
Well, I mean, of course, I have a very different opinion. In fact, when I was driving over here, they said I was here to debate children in MMA, which is just ridiculous. I think it's one of the greatest opportunities in the world.
Why?
To be able to experience martial arts, because martial arts is it's a lifestyle about, creating an art form for yourself and a way to live your life that is better than the way you were living it before. It's not about fighting. Everybody thinks it's about this fight. We're not there to fight. We're there to teach about the art, to teach about yourself, to learn about yourself.
We saw a lot of blows struck. We saw a lot of bloodshed. Was there anything in that piece, and we saw a variety of different MMA teaching approaches, Frank, that did you approve of all the holds, the throws, everything you saw in that piece, the way kids were hitting the mat?
Well, I mean, honestly, some of the competition stuff I think was probably a little bit rough. But, this comes down to parenting. Most of my teaching is teaching kids how to be kids and how to be normal, how to be themselves, and how to respect themselves, how to respect somebody else, and then respect this power, this art form that we're giving them. We don't worry about our kids out there whacking each other with helmets on and footballs. We don't worry about our kids wrestling. We don't worry about our kids doing all these other events. But the element of the fight has an edge to it, and it catches you, and it's hard to let go.
Bob, first of all, this has nothing to do with martial arts in the best sense. Martial arts in the best sense relates to self-control and self-discipline.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing that this thing tramples, and that's the core value of empathy. If you want to raise a child to go on and have a good life, you need to not just focus on self-discipline and other important aspects of sport. You need to recognize that empathy is at the core of a moral society. It maintains relationships, it fixes relationships, and this particular activity has absolutely no place in sport, nor does it do anything for a child's empathetic outlook to life.
Well, I totally got to disagree with you, because how do you learn about life? You put a helmet on and smash somebody, you put a glove on and punch somebody. You learn about life from real practical experiences, and it's cause and effect. If something happens, you feel it. It is what it is.
One of the many problems with this heinous activity is the notion of emotional scars. You ask any psychologist, not someone like Frank who is going to rely solely on word of mouth kind of activity.
Well,
let me finish. You ask any psychologist about the role of emotional scars, and you think about points on the same spectrum, and you will realize that this kind of violence leads to very, very severe consequences at a later stage of life. And I will tell you something. I will guarantee that after this show, you will see professional organizations, including psychologists and pediatricians, denouncing this activity, as well as elected officials, as they should.
And I'm sure they will, because it's a wonderful soapbox for everybody to get up on and make their case. But so is the war, so is religion, so is all the other problems we have in our country.
Frank, you cannot equate this to religion, please.
Oh, let's see. For religion, we kill people because it's okay.
Let's stay on point here.
In martial arts, we're studying an art form. And You're not a martial arts. I can tell right away you've never done martial arts.
Let me ask Dan, why are parents, at least anecdotally here, flocking to take their kids there and asking at age 3 to begin this training?
Because, to be honest, Bob, they're not engaging in the critical thinking skills that a good parent engages in. This is a sport about forcing another kid into submission, and you can take that as the line over which you should never cross in youth sports.
Frank, you're laughing. Is something been misrepresented here? What aren't we getting?
I don't watch sports. I'm not a sports guy. I watch martial arts. I don't get sports. I don't get why you'd get 12 guys and you'd hammer a ball down a field. It makes no sense to me. Is that activity giving my child respect, honor, discipline, teaching him about life? I don't know. I know for a fact when my son comes into martial arts, I know for a fact he's getting a good education about life, about his body, and about himself.